YouTube, what's good? Um, so over the weekend, we all got news that it was announced that Jay-Z and Beyonce donated $15 million to the Hussein Bolt Foundation for relief efforts in Haiti to help rebuild homes. And when I originally saw the news, I think I got the update from Complex. I don't remember. I follow so many different sites. Um, I attempted to do a blog post, just giving my salutes and acknowledging what they did because I feel like, you know, we don't. I feel like we don't acknowledge our celebrities and stand up and take notice enough when they do something positive. But I was having some technical difficulties with the post, and by the time I got around to getting everything fixed and reposting it, it was no longer really current events because in this 24-hour news cycle that we live in today, you got to be on top of shit or else it's old. It's yesterday's news. But I had posted on my social media a post basically saying the same thing, just acknowledging them, giving them a shout out, and basically saying that we're all responsible for each other, and that our celebrities and people who are in prominent positions and on the main stage and who are in a position to affect change should do so whenever possible. And somebody commented on it, and they were like, "Oh, but he's an Illuminati," talking about Jay. And this is what prompted me to redo this blog and put it up, even though it's no longer really current events in our 24-hour news cycle and our social media world. Because the problem that I have is this is the reason why in the black community we don't have shit. And the reason why so many other cultures look at us as not being shit. Because we have this crab in the barrel mentality that all of us, myself included, seem to subscribe to. We look at it as human nature that, when something fucked up happens, we speak on it, but we're slow to speak on the positive. We accentuate the negative, but we belittle the positive, or we don't even acknowledge it at all. And it's the society we live in. And I feel like this millennial generation, especially with social media and how quickly we get content and consume media now, um, we tend to maximize the minimum and minimize the maximum. And I take offense to that. And whenever possible, at least when dealing with the public and not people in my close circle, um, who sometimes warrant different reactions from me, when dealing with the general public, I typically try to remain cognizant of the fact that it is human nature that we will criticize someone, in a position of power. If you're including celebrity in that, because it is a form of power if you have a platform to reach millions of people. But we will criticize our celebrities and our black leaders and our people in prominent positions and our president or whoever when they don't speak out against things that affect the black community. We criticize them when they don't make donations to charitable organizations, or when there's a natural disaster. We criticize and we trash talk and throw shade at our celebrities and entertainers, especially in the hip hop world, when they don't, um, you know, use their platform to shed light on that. But then the problem at the same time is that when they do, the few who do it, and we get wind of it, it's either, oh, they're just doing it for publicity and attention, or um, yeah, they did this but they didn't do enough, or they spoke on this and they said that but they should have said this. And sometimes, like, just, I don't care what your issue is with a celebrity, whoever it is. I don't care what your issue is with the person. Like, it's okay to have an opinion and to speak out against something when something happens. But I feel like sometimes, and especially when it comes to things that affect everybody on a global scale, when you got 300 plus people killed in a natural disaster in any region of the world that affects all of us here at home, because of what we as a country claim to stand for, we should step up and acknowledge and salute and give a shout out to anybody who will come down off of their pedestal for whatever the reason and do something that's going to affect. Because even if you say, well, they donated $15 million, but between the two of them, it's not really nothing because of how much they're worth, and they could have did more, or they're doing it for publicity, or whatever the reason is. The fact is that it's real dollars and cents from real people who in real life are helping to affect in a positive way the lives of real people who were affected by something tragic that happened. So, not even just to the person who commented on my post and made the comment and changed the whole narrative, because then we got off into a whole different discussion, me and this person, on that social media post, after he made that statement. But it's like, we got to stop changing the narrative. We got to stop changing the subject and making something that should be the focal point of whatever's being discussed at that time, and turning it into something that it really doesn't need to be. I don't care if you're a fan of Beyonce, if you're a fan of Jay-Z, or if you're not. I don't care if you like hip-hop, R&B music, or if you like country music. The bottom line is, I don't care if it was Jay-Z, or if it was Kenny Chesney, or Keith Urban. I don't care who it is or who it was. The point is that when tragedy happens, that's when if at no other point, that's when it's most important for us to come together as a human race. Not black, not white, not haves, not have-nots, not upper echelon in the social world, or low on the totem pole. We all need to come together, and we all need to acknowledge our celebrities and the people who will run out and will support them and will buy their music and will go to their concerts and will go watch movies with them in it. But when something happens and it's positive response from these same people, we need to acknowledge that. So salute to Jay and Beyonce for doing what they did. I think it definitely was much needed. I'm sure they're not the only ones who did it, but anytime I see people who I follow and people who I whose music, and speaking about entertainers, who I was raised on and always had a negative light kind of follow their career, and talking about Jay-Z and his beginnings and the things that he came from to where he is now. Like, it's real recognized real. And so I respect the fact that you would take time out of whatever it is you're doing, or whatever it is you could be doing, to help people who were less fortunate and who couldn't otherwise help themselves. So salute to J and B. Fuck you to the fuck boy who decided to get on my post and comment and something that didn't even need to be said at that time. Like, there's a time to acknowledge certain things, and there's a time not to acknowledge certain things. So, I mean, it is what it is. Let's all do a better job, though, coming together and standing up and being held accountable for everybody can do something. We can't all donate $15 million to anything, but we all have a voice in 2016. We all have a platform with our social media, so we can all do something to help better this planet that we all have to share. What affects one of us affects all of us, so we're all responsible. I don't pretend to know everything, just know what I know. I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love.